As president, my highest and most solemn duty is the defense of our nation and its citizens. Last night, at my direction, the United States military successfully executed a flawless precision strike that killed the #1 terrorist anywhere in the world, Qasem Soleimani. Under my leadership, America's policy is unambiguous to terrorists who harm or intend to harm any American. We will find you, we will eliminate you, we will always protect our diplomats, service members, all Americans, and our allies.
Do you know for a fact that the mission that Soleimani was working on, you say, the attacks that you say he was planning, have they been called off, those attacks?
We're prepared for anything the Islamic Republic of Iran may do, Jake. There are clearly actors that go beyond Soleimani. That's why we're still doing the work we're doing. And that's why we're still preparing. It's why we're still flowing forces to the region. It's why we're doing all the things we're doing, building out our coalition, making sure our partners are defending our embassies and diplomatic facilities and military installations all throughout the region. It's why you saw the statement that was put out by DHS. We're getting prepared in the event that the Islamic Republic of Iran leadership makes a bad decision.
Immediate release from White House. Dodd's statement on Iranian ballistic missile attacks in Iraq. January 7, 2020. Statement from Assistant to the Secretary of Defense for Public Affairs Jonathan Hoffman. At approximately 5:30 p.m. EST, on January 7, Iran launched more than a dozen ballistic missiles against U.S. military and coalition forces in Iraq. It is clear that these missiles were launched from Iran and targeted at least 2 Iraqi military bases hosting U.S. military and coalition personnel at Al-Assad and Erbil. We are working on initial battle damage assessments. In recent days and in response to Iranian threats and actions, the Department of Defense has taken all appropriate measures to safeguard our personnel and partners. These bases have been on high alert due to indications that the Iranian regime planned to attack our forces and interests in the region. As we evaluate the situation and our response, we will take all necessary measures to protect and defend U.S. personnel, partners, and allies in the region. Due to the dynamic nature of the situation, we will continue to provide updates as they become available. RT News headlines. U.S. aviation watchdog bars all civilian flights over Iraq, Iran and Persian Gulf as Pentagon weighs response to Iranian retribution. Pentagon says more than a dozen missiles launched from Iran against 2 U.S. bases, vows necessary countermeasures. So far, so good. Trump tweets of U.S. military might, set to address Americans on Wednesday over Iranian strike. President Trump has said all is well in the wake of Iranian strikes on 2 Iraqi bases where U.S. troops are stationed. Why it matters: this is the closest the current U.S. Iran standoff has come to war, with Iran retaliating directly against the U.S. for the killing of General Qasem Soleimani. However, there are no U.S. casualties reported thus far and Trump has appeared to signal restraint. All is well. Missiles launched from Iran at 2 military bases located in Iraq. Assessment of casualties and damages taking place now. So far, so good. We have the most powerful and well-equipped military anywhere in the world, by far. I will be making a statement tomorrow morning. Trump on Twitter. The message from Tehran in the wake of the strikes has been that more will follow, but only if the U.S. retaliates. Iran took and concluded proportionate measures in self-defense under Article 51 of Union Charter targeting base from which cowardly armed attack against our citizens and senior officials were launched. We do not seek escalation or war, but will defend ourselves against any aggression. Iranian Foreign Minister Javad Zarif. Where things stand, there have been unconfirmed reports of Iraqi casualties, but not of Americans killed or injured. What they're saying. Pentagon statement, at approximately 5:30 p.m. EST, on January 7, Iran launched more than a dozen ballistic missiles against U.S. military and coalition forces in Iraq. It is clear that these missiles were launched from Iran and targeted at least 2 Iraqi military bases hosting U.S. military and coalition personnel at Al-Assad and Erbil. We are working on initial battle damage assessments. The Pentagon added that it had taken all appropriate measures to safeguard our personnel and partners in recent days and placed the bases on high alert. Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the brave soldiers of IRGC's aerospace unit, have launched a successful attack with tens of ballistic missiles on Al-Assad military base in the name of Martyr General Qasem Soleimani. We warn all allied countries of the US that if attacks are launched from bases in their countries on Iran, they will be a target of military retaliation. A photo released by the IRGC appeared to show Ayatollah Ali Khomeini, Iran's supreme leader, personally overseeing the attacks. Context: Khomeini said in the wake of Soleimani's killing that Iran should retaliate directly and not through its proxies. But it's an extremely dangerous step for Iran, particularly after Trump drew a bright red line around any attacks that harm Americans or U.S. interests. However, there's now a potential off-ramp for de-escalation given Iran can claim to have defended its honor and Trump can point to the limited damage. Even if the Iranian military stops here, though, further attacks are possible from Iranian proxies or in the cyber realm. Michael Singh, managing director of the Washington Institute for Near East Policy, tells Axios that even if no U.S. casualties result, this will be viewed in Washington as a serious escalation by Iran. Had there been U.S. casualties, there likely would be serious consideration of strikes against Iran proper, for example against the missile launch sites. If in fact there are no U.S. casualties, that offers the president more flexibility in responding, though I'm skeptical he would choose not to respond at all given the seriousness of the Iranian attack. Behind the scenes, Speaker Nancy Pelosi was meeting with members this evening when she was handed a note with news of the attack, Representative Debbie Dingell told reporters. Pelosi told the room to pray. The latest, the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, has issued an emergency restriction for airspace around the Persian Gulf due to the potential for miscalculation or misidentification, per AP. Flashback: Trump visited Al-Assad Air Base in December 2018 and said that the U.S. would keep a presence in Iraq in part to watch over Iran.